Why do they never go in for me? Hello VC, I'm back again. Yes, here we go again with yet more waffle about records and records and records. Just for a bit of variety. Right, gonna start this video off with a bit of VCLT. Thanks to the lovely John Downing, 6-inch pianist, I received a package in the mail, and didn't know what it was. I thought, oh, don't think I ordered anything. So I took it in and opened it up and found a couple of records inside with a rather lovely note from John. Thank you so much for these, John. They're both great records. Both. I've posted on the Facebook page about one of them already, and totally blown away by it. Absolutely blown away. I absolutely love it. So that record is this one, and this is Delaney and Bonnie and Friends on tour with Eric Clapton. This is one of the best live records I've ever heard. Well, in fact, it's probably one of the best albums I've heard for quite a long time. I have been absolutely blown away by this. It's just a brilliant record. Absolutely love it. So it's a recording of Delaney and Bonnie and Friends from, I think it was recorded in 1970 at various places in England. I think there was a Albert Hall show that was recorded, definitely a show or two in Croydon, of all places. Not well known for its rock history. Yeah. This band are just absolutely rocking. I mean, I suppose it's kind of that soul rocky soul, I don't know, interface. I think they were on I think Headley mentioned they were on a bill, there was a tour that happened by train in North America where they toured with, Delaney and Bonnie and Friends toured with Janis Joplin, I think. And immense fun was had by all. But they definitely seem to come from the same sort of musical place, what it seems to me. I mean, joining them on this is Dave Mason from Traffic. Bobby Keys on saxophone, I recognise that name. Rita Coolidge did some vocals. Absolutely fabulous album. The cover is apparently, I'm not sure if I've read that right, but apparently those are Bob Dylan's feet. This wasn't actually a it's not a picture of the band. Apparently, I think Delaney liked the picture or something. I'm not sure what the story is of the cover, but apparently that's not one of the band. Whether it's Bob Dylan's feet or not, I'll leave you to go and search yourselves online. What can I say? Absolutely brilliant stuff. I've played that at least 5 or 6 times since I got it, and phenomenal. The other record that John sent me was a compilation. I don't know, maybe, I know I've mentioned this label before, how much I actually absolutely love this label, from the start to the end of its existence, because they were just so all over the place with their output. But this is Keeping the Faith, which is a creation dance compilation. So this kind of stems, that Creation's interest in Creation putting out dance music was stemmed from Alan McGee's visit to the Hacienda in Manchester, and he just totally got ecstasy, tripping his nut off, and signed some of the bands. So on here you've got, it's a double album, so on here you've got people like Fluke, Hypnotone, Primal Scream with a couple of remixes by Terry Farley and Hypnotone. You've got a remix of My Bloody Valentine by Andy Weatherall. You've got World Unite, Sound of Shoom. Of the 4 sides, I think the 4th side is not strictly, it's a bit too housey for me, but the rest of it is just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And I don't think I actually do own that remix of Soon, and it was brilliant. And in fact, I've got the Terry Farley mix of Loaded somewhere, but the Hypnotone Brain Machine mix of Come Together I don't have either, so I was gobsmacked to get those. And the Fluke track, the Hypnotone track Dream Beam, and the Love Corporation track Palatial, the mixes of those are phenomenal. So I was absolutely chuffed to bits to get this one as well. So John, you're a true gent, and thank you so much. And I'm going to keep playing that Delaney and Bonnie album. I've got to find some more stuff by them now, because that has just whetted my appetite. Right, okay, so on to a vinyl Wodge. I'm just looking at what we've got here, and I'll start with the few 12 inches that I picked up. Now, as ever, I'm way behind what I've actually got. I've got a full cube of records that I haven't shown, and they're all bought within the last 4 months or so. So this will probably, if there's a drought in Exeter, on the surroundings of Exeter, in the next year, I've probably got enough records to do videos for, and CDs, to keep me going for at least 6 months, 9 months. There we go. So I'll go through a few 12 inches I got. I picked these up. Were they £1 each? Yeah, they were. Maybe even cheaper, but I think they were £1 each. Just 3 12 inches. I got this one, which is Fishbone. This is Everyday Sunshine, Fight the Youth. Really good 12 inch. Fishbone were another one of those funk metal bands that were knocking around. There were loads of them knocking around sort of all the same time. Late 80s. I guess sort of after the Chili Peppers really started recording. I guess a lot, they sort of coalesced maybe what had been happening before that. I'm thinking, who am I thinking of? Stevie Salas, Colour Code, Dan Reed Network, a couple of other bands as well, Faith No More. So there were a few bands like this knocking around, and it seemed to be quite a movement. I mean, it sort of fizzled out again by the early 90s. Oh, Living Colour, there's another one. Fishbone, I've only got a couple of singles by them, but I really should investigate them more, because I really like what I've heard. So this has got two tracks, well, 4 tracks, 2 LP versions, and then 2 remixes. Everyday Sunshine and Fight the Youth. Then you've got Fight the Youth Extended Remix, which is fabulous, and then a Freddy's Dead remix, Zionic mix, which isn't quite so good, but that's a good 12 inch to have. Also got this, Real People, Believer, which is, Real People were a Liverpool band. I think I've recently talked about them. I think I got another 12 inch by them recently. Or maybe I haven't talked about them yet, I'm not sure. But anyway, they're a Liverpool band around in the late 80s, early 90s. Kind of baggy. They were tied into that baggy sound, much as the Farm were, really. Not strictly Manchester. Well, they weren't Manchester, they were Liverpool. But I remember seeing these at Liverpool Uni, and I loved what I heard. I don't think I've picked up a... Have I got an album on CD somewhere? Maybe. I know I've got other singles. But they were best known... Now they're most well known for basically helping Oasis get their break. The guy... Now... what's his name? The lead singer of The Real People helped to finance Oasis's demo tape that then got, well, obviously went on to get them the contract with Creation. This particular 12-inch, which is die cut cross with quite nice artwork on the inside, was released. Oh, there's no date on it. It's on Columbia, pretty boring label. It's got a date on it. I can't see a date at all. 92. So this is quite late for them because they were releasing records definitely in 1989, 1990. So I think this might have been one of their last releases. So this was 92. So this is nice stuff. And then this is funny. I saw this and I thought, right, I'm going to pick this up. This is Terraplane, and this is Good Thing Going. This is the band that now it's various members of Thunder were in before they became Thunder. Is his name Danny? I think that's Danny, their lead singer, looking all airbrushed. Now, as you can see, there is some writing on the back. Whoever gave this record as a present put a little note on here, and it's hysterical. Dear Michelle, you're going to love this. It's hysterical. The A-side is a cross between a Eurovision Song Contest entry and the theme tune to Minder. Classic stuff. Merry Christmas, love, light and peace. And then I'm not sure what the person's name is. Not sure. And he's not far wrong, except that he doesn't say how bad the A-side is. It's absolutely terrible. The B-sides are not so bad. I think maybe because the B-sides were produced by Luke Morley, who's a member of the band, who was also in Thunder, who is also in Thunder, I'm pretty sure. But the A-side is definitely, the record company has said, right, we want a pop hit out of you lot. Go and write something, go and record something. And they failed miserably. I personally think the theme tune from Minder is a far superior record to this. I'm still looking out for a copy of that. But every time I find a copy of I Could Be So Good For You, which is the theme tune for Minder, which is a TV programme that was around in the late 70s, early 80s in the UK. It's absolutely trashed. I don't know what people have got against Dennis Waterman. I don't have anything, as James Griffiths will know. But there you go. Right, on to some other records, and I would suggest probably the last two I'm going to show are kind of grails for me. They're records that maybe they're not so hard to get. Well, they are for a decent price, I guess. But they're records I've been after for a long time, but more on those later. Right. First record, I got a really lovely copy of this. Prefab Sprout, From Langley Park to Memphis. This record, I think it's the third, am I right? The third Prefab Sprout record. It's got the big hit single King of Rock and Roll. No. Yeah, King of Rock and Roll. Yeah, that's right. Which was a British top 10 hit. I think it's the Sprout's only top 10 hit. I'm pretty sure of that one. It's also got Cars and Girls, which was a critique of Bruce Springsteen. Paddy McAloon went on record. I remember reading interviews around this time that he gave, and he was pretty dismissive of that American rock that Springsteen represented. I tend now to side with the Springsteen side of it rather than the McAloon side. I'm not sure about this album yet. I'm really not sure. It's way smoother than I thought it would be. I really have to listen to it again. I like the singles off it still. King of Rock and Roll. I thought that was a great track. I loved the chorus and the way that the kind of it's an almost meta track, really. It's all about a sort of a one-hit wonder from the 50s, telling his story and about how he feels now. And the chorus of the song is actually the chorus from the hit song that he hit, the one-hit wonder, showing what a load of old tats sometimes sold in the 50s, I guess. Showing the absolute vacuousness of some lyrics. But the rest of the album, I don't know. I'm going to have to listen to it again. I wasn't overly impressed, which would probably disappoint some people, I'm sure. Despite it being produced, some of the songs was produced by Thomas Dolby, which I noticed. Paddy McAloon produced a lot of it himself. I thought he sounded like Green Gartside on a lot of these tracks. I was going, is he got a guest vocalist on here or something? Yeah, not overly sold on that yet, but we'll give it another go. A record I was sold on the first time I heard it. I think I heard a couple of tracks first, either on Spotify or YouTube or something, because I was looking for Beatles covers, and I heard the title track of this one. Now, this album is Wilson Pickett, Hey Jude. I heard his version of Hey Jude and I thought, oh my goodness, it's making me love this song again. Now, for the longest time, when I was a kid, I loved Hey Jude. I had the 7-inch single that I got from somewhere. I used to play it over and over again. I had a tape of 6770 and I played Hey Jude over and over again. But somewhere around the Olympics, I got really, really tired of it. I think because McCartney rolled it out all the time. He seemed to play it all the time. If he was on TV anywhere, he was just playing Hey Jude. And I got really bored of it. But hearing Wilson Pickett's version of it has made me love the song again. Now, I haven't listened to Hey Jude that much, but I can actually listen to it again without feeling, ugh. Which is, thank you, Wilson Pickett, just for that. But this whole album is fantastic. And if anything, there is another cover on here that probably outdoes even the cover of Hey Jude. It's the cover of Born to Be Wild, and it is stunning. Absolutely amazing. I mean, Wilson Pickett was a brilliant vocalist. Just such soul. And the rest of the album doesn't disappoint either. Great album, and I'm going to show, it's an original pressing, and I'm going to show the label, because I don't tire of seeing Atlantic labels. It's one of the ones I really like, and this is one of the, is it Purple Plum? I don't know, Orange Plum, whatever they're called. Just love looking at Atlantic labels. And it's really nice to have one of these ones, not the green and orange ones. So that, I'm going to do that later. So there we go. Fantastic. Right. Next one I picked up for 50p. Because I saw it. It was in a charity shop for the longest time. And I kept looking at it and kept thinking, should I get it? And then one day it disappeared, so I thought it sold. somebody had picked it up. And then I went to this charity shop have a warehouse depot in Exeter as well. And it seems that when the shops clear a lot of their stock off the shelves that hasn't sold for ages, it gets sent to this central depot, and there it gets really cheaply sold off. And it turned up there, and so I thought, right, okay, I've seen it again, I'm going to get it this time. So this is Chip Hawkes' Nashville album. Now, Chip Hawkes was the bass player for the Tremolos, Brian Poole and the Tremolos, in the 60s, who were a very popular, and I think they had hits in the States as well. But they were incredibly popular in the UK in the early 60s. Lots of hits. And I think it dried up a bit by the early 70s. And what label is this on? It's on RCA. Yeah. RCA, for some reason, signed him up in 76 and said, right, you can go to Nashville and make an album. I don't know why, but there we go. This is sort of tells the story of the album, of the recording, and he makes a good job of it. I mean, there's a few tracks that are a bit really middle of the road, but this is quite a good attempt at a kind of country rock album. He's got some really great players on it. Now, I did go through and I've completely forgot. Jimmy Isbell, Joe Allen, played with all kinds of people. He does a really good cover of Eleanor Rigby on here, which links it back to the Wilson Pickett, because we've got two really good covers of Beatles tracks. I was really surprised by that. It's kind of more acoustic led, no strings. I think there's kind of a mandolin on it, or some kind of that kind of instrument. Or maybe it's just an acoustic recording in a slightly different way. But it's actually a surprisingly good album. I really enjoyed listening to this. And of course, Chip Hawkes is now more famous as the dad of Chesney Hawkes. There we go. Glad I picked that one up. Right, we come to the, I don't know, Grails. I don't know whether I subscribe to that Grail. In fact, I don't know whether I subscribe to doing those quotation marks either, but I've done them now. Can't take it back, it's on video. Yeah, so the first one is this. So it's 20 Reggae Classics. It's on Trojan. This goes back to my days of going down the record library in London, Palmer's Green in London, with my dad. And one day I got this out. And I think because I'd heard reggae before this, you know, UB40 you were big. I'd heard other bits and pieces. Obviously, ska was pretty big. You know, Two Tone was massive a few years before I'd heard this. And I thought, it's got the original of Red Red Wine on it. I know that. And Love of the Common People, which was recorded by Paul Young. And it's got... And I'm sure I'd heard Skinhead Moonstomp before that. Many Rivers to Cross is on it. Rudy and Message to You. Cherry O Baby, which was done by UB40. Rivers of Babylon. So I'd heard, covers of a lot of these tracks, but these are all originals. And I picked this out, and I was gobsmacked at the time how good this stuff was. Absolutely just played it over and over again. I think I eventually wore their tape that I'd recorded it on out. And I always meant to get my own copy. So this was 85, 84, 85. This came out in 84. I know these tracks inside out. They just became part of my musical DNA. These tracks. I absolutely love this album. So to finally own a copy, possibly, how long? 30, 33, 32, 33 years later. Fantastic. So glad I got back into vinyl. So it's got so many good songs on here. Obviously Red Red Wine, Pressure Drop by the Maytals, Liquidator by the Harry J All-Stars, Long Shot Kick the Bucket by the Pioneers, Many Rivers Across, Jimmy Cliff, Version Girl, Boy Friday, Fatty Fatty by Clancy Eccles, Monkey Man by the Maytals, Train to Scarville by the Ethiopians, 007 by Desmond Dekker. 007 was covered by Musical Youth. I mean, oh, this album was an education, an absolute education in ska and how good it can be. So I am so glad that I've got a copy of this now. Absolute monumental compilation for me, this is. Just love it. And then the other record that I've been after for a long time and I never got was this one. This is Gathering Dust by Ghost Dance. So different from the last one, from this one. So different. This is a compilation. Now, Ghost Dance, let's start with who they are, because a lot of people probably don't know who Ghost Dance are, or were. Ghost Dance were a kind of goth supergroup. They were put together by Anne-Marie from Skeletal Family and Gary Marks, who was chucked out of the Sisters of Mercy before First and Last and Always came out, I think. I don't think he's on that. Pretty sure he's not on there. And they came together, put a band together. And they released, I think it was 4 or 5 singles on Carbon label. There we go. Before they got snapped up by, was it WEA? And they released an album. But after the first 3 singles were released, this was put together, collecting those the tracks from those 3 singles. I meant to get this. Now, I meant to get this when it came out in, I think it came out in 87. Pretty sure it was 87 this came out. I meant to get this. Now, I think it was, I went into HMV in Oxford Street and it was a toss-up between getting this or the debut album by Fields and the Nephilim. And I ended up getting the Nephilim album. Always meaning to go back and get a copy of this from somewhere, but I never did. I had the track Grip of Love on an indie top 20 compilation tape, and I loved that. I knew Heartful of Soul, their version of Heartful of Soul, but too long in the coming. Come on, 30 years to wait for a record is just stupid, isn't it? Probably. But I finally got it. I finally got the hold of a copy of this. No, it wasn't that cheap, but I wanted this. So when I saw that there was a decent copy going for an okay price, I got it. So they did a lot of covers, actually. They did a cover of Heartful of Soul. They've done Can the Can on here. They did Both Ends Burning by Roxy. They did Radar Love. I think there's another one as well. for Soul, Red or Love, Both Ends Burning, and the rest are originals. So half the album, half the tracks are covers, but I really like their covers. It was nice to hear these songs, mainly sung by men, actually sung by a woman. I kind of adds something to them, I guess. They're not too gothy. They're kind of gothy, but not really ultra goth versions. They're quite poppy gothy, I would say. But the main tracks, like River of No Return, I love. Grip of Love is a brilliant song. It's absolutely brilliant. Last Train, A Deeper Blue. It's just great. It's great hearing these songs. I must have had a tape or something because I knew most of them. But it's great hearing these songs properly for the first time. And what a gorgeous cover that is. That is. I don't know whether they've co-opted the image from somewhere else or whether it was drawn specifically for. I'm guessing it was drawn because you've got the GD there, and but it's a gorgeous cover. Absolutely love that cover and love the record. So there we go. All right, hodgepodge of musical styles as usual. So happy to have that Delaney and Bonnie album and the Creation compilation, but particularly the Delaney and Bonnie album. Thank you, John. And that's about it for this lot, I guess. There we go. I think I've waffled on for... Have I done nearly half an hour? Oh my lord. These videos are getting longer and longer. And that wasn't even a big Wodge. Right. So, without further ado, I'm signing off. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting up with my waffle. And I hope to see you all again soon. So thank you, VC. See you later. Bye.